Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm bringing you my August haul, which is pretty large because I bought quite a few things and I also hauled a lot of e-arcs, mostly graphic novels and manga, but we'll get to those in a minute. So I'm just gonna jump right in. First, I'll show you all the physical books that I purchased this month. The first several all came from the same sale. Flame Tree Press had a 4th of July sale, and it took a little while to get here because they had some issues with their distributors, but they had all of their hardbacks for $5 each. And so I had a few Jonathan Janz titles that I only had in ARCs, and I wanted to upgrade to hardbacks, so I did that. So first I got The Siren and the Spectre, which is my favorite horror book of all time, one of my favorite books of all time, period. This is about a skeptic who goes to stay in a haunted house. He's really not expecting much to happen, but when he gets there, he finds out that he's being haunted by the ghost of a former lover. Next, I got The Darkest Lullaby. This is one I actually haven't read yet, but I'm excited to. And this is about a couple who moves into a house that the husband has just inherited from a recently deceased family member, and when they get there, things just go terribly wrong. I got House of Skin. This is one of Jonathan's earliest works, and this follows multiple people and just the ways that they're impacted by this very terrifying haunted house and the spirit that controls it. I got Dust Devils, which is a horror western with vampires. The Sorrows, which is about a group of people who go to a castle on a secluded island called the Sorrows that has been abandoned since a series of grisly murders took place 100 years earlier. And then I got the sequel, Castle of Sorrows, which I have not read yet, but I'm very excited to see where it goes, especially because I'm very, very concerned for the characters who were left standing at the end of book one. I cared a lot about those characters, and I'm really scared that Jonathan's going to make me regret loving them. That was it for the Flame Tree Press sale. Next, I got The Henna Wars by Adiba Jagadar. This is one that I actually bought for the Dragons and Tea Book Club Book of the Month, and I sadly did not get to the group reading time. Hello. Hi. Yeah. Anyways, this is a sapphic YA romance about two enemies to lovers who own rival henna businesses. And then my pre-order for You Should See Me in a Crown finally came in. I've yelled enough about this book. You all know that I love it. If you somehow missed all of that, it is a sapphic YA rom-com about a girl who enters a prom committee sort of thing to try to win a scholarship, but she ends up falling for another girl who's also running for prom queen. This was absolutely wonderful, and yeah, I pre-ordered this. This came out back in June, and it was lost in the mail for like 2 months, so I'm so relieved that it finally arrived. I got the UK edition of Disappearance at Devil's Rock by Paul Tremblay. This is about a woman who is searching for her missing son. This is a horror mystery, and this really wasn't actually very high on my list. This was probably like bottom tier of my priority list for Paul Tremblay's books, just because the premise didn't sound as interesting to me as his other books. However, with his most recent book, Survivor Song, my friend Sarah reviewed that and said that that actually references some things that happen in this book and some characters from this book, and so naturally now I want to read this before I read Survivor Song. I got Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. This is the first book in a dark new adult fantasy romance series about a girl who is searching for her missing brother, and so she takes on a bargain with a very dangerous fae to get his help to search for her brother. And then my last physical purchase was The Turtle Boy by Kaelan Patrick Burke. This was his debut, I think, and it was out of print for several years, and then he actually reprinted it in August, and so I was able to get a paperback of this. And this is just a short little horror novella about a couple of boys who one day are exploring the pond in their town that has a lot of rumors surrounding this pond anyways, and they find a very strange child there. I'm not really sure what this kid is doing. I just know that Kaelan is one of my favorite authors, and he has a way with writing these creepy children anyways, so I'm sure this is going to be good. Next, I got just a couple of print review copies. I got Witchcraft Cocktails by Julia Helena Hoddes. This you've probably already seen me mention. I read the e-arc of this and I really, really loved it, so I was so grateful that the publishers actually sent me out this beautiful finished copy, because I know that this is a recipe book that I'm going to be keeping in my arsenal. I love witchy recipe books anyways, and this is among the best that I've seen. The great thing about this also is if you're not an alcohol drinker, there are so many recipes in here that either are already non-alcoholic or you could easily make non-alcoholic. But also, I just have to show you how beautiful this is. Like, look at how pretty some of these drinks are. Like, oh, let me find some more to show you. They are so stunning. I love the photography in this book. It's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, huge thank you to Adams Media for sending this out, and I think this comes out on September 8th, so I know you can go ahead and get a copy really soon. And then the other print arc that I got this month was Last Case at the Baggage Auction by Eric J. Gunyard. Eric is one of the nicest authors that I've had the pleasure of meeting in this community. He's a horror author, and he is just so kind and so generous, and so when he reached out to me about this novella, honestly I wanted to say yes even before I heard the synopsis, and then when I did hear the synopsis I was completely years old. It's about a couple of men in 60s Detroit who get an old antique gramophone from a baggage auction. And the music that it plays, I guess, is addictive. Like, they can't stop listening to it, and some really strange things start happening with the music. I love any kind of stories that involve like cursed or haunted or possessed objects. That's just something that I'm really, really fond of in my horror stories, whether they're books or movies. So yeah, I'm very, very keen on this. And this is actually already out, so if you're interested in this, you can go ahead and grab a copy. I also hit up some really A+ Kindle sales this month. A few of these were free and the rest were all like $2 or less. I got The Beast of Blackmore by Milla Vane. This is a fantasy series that I've really been wanting to check out for quite a while now, so I finally went ahead and got the prequel book to it, which is this one. I got From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Literally all I know about this is that it's a new adult fantasy romance, and that almost every single person I know who likes the same kind of fantasy romance that I do has given this 5 stars. I got Summer of Salt by Katrina Leno. This is another one that I just kind of bought because I keep hearing about it and I've liked some of her other work. All I know is that this is a sapphic YA fabulism story. I got The Wrong Game by Candy Snyder. This was a freebie. It's an angsty enemies to lovers sports romance. I got I Am Still Alive by Kate Alice Marshall. This is a YA survival thriller about a girl who has to survive in the wilderness alone with just her dad's dog, I think. And then I just got a few indie horror anthologies. Some of these were freebies and some of them were like $1. I got Tales from the Lake Volume 5, Ugly Little Things by Todd Kiesling, Arterial Bloom, edited by Mercedes M. Yardley, and Shallow Waters Volume 1, edited by Joe Minhart. And finally, I got a lot of e-arcs this month. Actually not as many as usual, to be fair. And most of them were graphic novels and manga, so they're like really quick reads, so I'm actually doing really well with my arc limits. Anyways, I'll just go ahead and get into it. I got Cradle of Parasites by Sarah Tanflinger. I was so excited when she emailed me about this because I love Sarah's work. She writes poetry and it's so gorgeous and spooky. And this is her new poetry horror collection. This is coming out on October 31st and it is about the Black Plague. Spoiler alert, I've already read the first couple of pages of this earlier today, and literally a few pages in, I am already obsessed, like 5 stars. I don't need to read any further. I mean, I'm going to because I'm very excited to, but I don't have to know that it's a 5-star read. I got Witches Steeped in Gold by Cannon Smart. I'm so excited for this. This is a Jamaican-inspired YA fantasy coming out in April, I think. And this is about 2 enemy witches who have to form an unlikely alliance to seek revenge together. I got The Roommate by Rosie Danan, which I actually talked about in my August mid-month wrap-up, so I'll link that below if you haven't seen it. But this is about a kind of shy, prudish young woman who goes to live with a new roommate, and she doesn't know until she gets there that her new roommate is a famous porn star. And this comes out September 15th, so you can go ahead and pre-order it. Do that now. I got We Are the Ashes, We Are the Fire by Joy McCullough. This is her new novel in verse. I loved Bloodwater Paint so much. It is one of my favorite books of all time. I think it's so underrated. And I really love the way Joy handles trauma and surviving sexual assault. It's just the way she handles it just hits something like really deep in me. Like, you know, plenty of authors have written about it well, but no author has gotten to my core the way Joy did with Bloodwater Paint. And so this is actually another book that's going to be tackling sexual assault. And this is actually about a girl who is dealing with a lot of guilt and anger and just sorrow and rage after her younger sister's rapist gets off scot-free and doesn't have to do any prison time. So needless to say, I know that this is going to absolutely gut me, just like Bloodwater Paint did. But oh, man, I'm so ready for the heartbreak, you know. I also got A House at the Bottom of the Sea. That's not the name. A House at the Bottom of a Lake by Josh Malloran. This is actually a re-release of an old novella of his about a couple of teenagers who find a house at the bottom of a lake. It's kind of self-explanatory. I see this pitched a lot as horror, but then a lot of my horror-loving friends have actually said it's just fantasy and it's not horror, so I don't know, we'll see. But this is being re-released this December, and so I got an e-arc of it. And then the rest of my e-arc haul was all graphic novels and manga. I got The Way of the House Husband Volume 1 by Kosuke Ono. This is a manga about a Yakuza boss who retires and becomes a house husband, and I don't have words for how good this was. Like, this is easily a new all-time favorite manga series. I loved this so much. And the series is actually already 3 volumes deep, and the 4th volume is coming out in September. So, you know, you have a few volumes to catch up on, but for whatever reason, volume 1 is on NetGalley. So if you want to get a taste of it, you could probably still do that. I got Aster and the Mixed Up Magic by Tom Pico. This is the sequel to Aster and the Accidental Magic, which I really enjoyed. It's a middle grade fantasy graphic novel about a girl who moves out in the middle of nowhere and she develops a magical ability to talk to a dog, and shenanigans ensue. I got Omni Volume 1 by Devin Grayson. This is a new SFF graphic novel series. People all over the world have become ignited and have started displaying superpowers after being through traumatic events, basically. And what's so great about this is that in the first volume, every single ignited person that you meet in the first volume comes from a disenfranchised community. And so like our main character is this incredible Black woman, and almost everyone she comes in contact with is also a person of color. I'm pretty sure there's some hinting that there's going to be a sapphic romance. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being like wishful thinking, but anyways, I'm supposed to be talking about all this in my wrap up, but look, I loved this graphic novel so much, I just need you to know that you need to read it. Then I got My Riot by Rick Spears. This is a YA story set in the 90s about a previously kind of conservative ballerina who gets introduced to the Riot Girl movement and decides that's where she wants to be, and so she like forms a band and stuff. I got Fangirl Volume 1 by Rainbow Rowell. I actually didn't know that Fangirl was being adapted into a manga until I saw this on NetGalley. If you're not familiar with it, Fangirl is just about a college freshman who is going off to college and she has anxiety and she's dealing with being away from home and new friends and a first love. Next I got Ever After by Olivia Buick. This is a YA horror about zombies. I got Witches of Brooklyn by Sophie Escabas. This is a middle grade paranormal graphic novel about a young girl who is forced to move to be with her two very eccentric aunts. I got Odessa by Jonathan Hill. This is a YA semi-post-apocalyptic story just about a couple of siblings going on a search across this ruined landscape of America to find their missing mother. And the last thing I got was The Weird Books Volume 1 by Svetlana Chmakva. This is a middle grade paranormal fantasy about a world in which there are all of these paranormal children who come out at night, and it follows this group of kids called Weirds who basically have demons assigned to them at birth. I don't know, it's cute. I like that stuff. So anyways, that's it. That is my August haul. And yeah, like I said, I got more e-arcs than I planned to, but I'm still doing pretty well with my arc limits, especially considering almost every arc that I got is a really quick read. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and come talk to me in the comments. Let me know what was your favorite thing that you hauled in August, or if you didn't haul anything, tell me something that you would like to haul soon, or just tell me how your month was, you know, whatever. Just come say hi. Thank you again for watching, and I can't wait to talk to you in another video soon. Bye!